Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Brandon Hart, the ECOstruder, and we are here once again to put together the Modix 3D BIG-60 3D printer. Last time you saw the unboxing, and if you didn't see that, there'll be a link in the description, and I don't know, maybe in the annotations or something like that somewhere. I'll make sure you can find it. But yeah, the unboxing actually went pretty decently. Everything seemed to make it through okay. There were some things that I didn't particularly love about it, but you know, the extra paper that was thrown in, the condition of the external boxes. But probably my biggest thing is these aluminum extrusions they were cut pretty rough when they were threaded. You know, they're just not real clean. Even the protective plastic that was put on these things didn't really protect the way they were rubbing against each other. So not a terribly big fan of how all of that went. And more than anything, just the amount of aluminum chips that were contained in there is just really messy. I imagine I'm probably going to be finding those things stuck in my feet probably for quite some time, if not forever. So other than that though, things seem to be pretty decent. I did find the elusive PEI. I tried to add some notes in the unboxing video. That is actually taped down to the aluminum print bed. And so basically, I don't think you can see too much over here, but essentially what I've done is just taken everything out and arranged it all in bins and in categories and stuff like that, so it's easier to find as I start to put things together. I think this step is essential for building any sort of complex thing with this many parts, and it actually took quite a long time. Again, just to pick on the aluminum extrusions again, mostly because it was pulling all the plastic and all those aluminum chips and trying to vacuum everything up in between so that those didn't get everywhere. That was probably the part that took the longest, but there are quite a lot of parts here and quite a lot to put together and keep track of. So anyway, hopefully everything goes pretty smoothly today now that we've got everything arranged here. So how do we do this? Well, there is the nice Modix 3D, yeah, you can see that, the website here, and they've got this real interesting, pretty nicely laid out as it appears, online user manual, assembly guide. One of the cool things about this is that they've actually got a 3D preview of the parts as you build them. So as you build them, you can come in here and make sure that everything, you know, looks the way it's supposed to. If you're not quite sure how it's supposed to mount, you know, you can get in here and really zoom in on something. So I think that's pretty cool. So we'll be definitely taking advantage of that as we go. But I don't know, enough of me rambling. Let's just start doing some building here, and I'll let you know my thoughts as we go. Sound good? Right on. So, interesting, it's in the instructions here, I'm guessing these are for the old linear rails before they upgraded to the genuine high wind linear rails, but it says that you're supposed to put a screw in every other hole for a total of 10 screws. There are a lot more holes than that in this one, and so I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 screws. And the last two are right next to each other because we can't go every other hole and still get to both ends. So I have 15 screws instead of the 10 that it says I'm supposed to have. Hopefully there are enough screws because I feel like this is the right way to do it. So I'm going to do it again on the other one. So instead of 20 screws, I need 30 screws and what they call shim washers, or what I call lock washers, on the screws themselves. So hopefully it works out. We'll see. Okay, well, good news, I actually had some M3x16 screws on hand, so we're going to go ahead and be able to put the rest of them in here. The package only came with 22 of them, and so I found 6 more. So we should be good. Well, 6 plus another 2 to replace the ones that I took out, so 8 more. But I think we're good, so let's keep on moving. Okay, everybody. So slight technical difficulties. The camera's cut out there for a little bit, and I kept going. So you missed a little bit of what I did, but essentially what I've been doing is putting together some of these additional brackets, and the majority of the process was putting together this large frame here. And so they bring this into frame so you can see this thing. Again, I know I've said it before, but this thing is huge. So yeah, that's basically as far as I've gotten. So we've got the X-axis rails here. We've got the brackets. This is all upside down, by the way. So this will all be the other way around. But I've got these brackets here that are going to hold the smooth rods, and the bearings and everything else are on those parts. Got a couple other brackets that I put together as well. I'll grab those. We got these guys that I haven't looked ahead or anything, haven't peeked, but I assume these are going to go here. Again, the whole thing will be the other way around, but these have the bearings in them, and then the brackets for the rods. So basically, we're moving right along, getting the frame built, and then after that, quickly start moving into some other parts. But again, I haven't really looked ahead. I do really like these ball screws. but I haven't even taken them out of the plastic yet, so I don't have much to say about those quite yet either. So sorry for the technical difficulties, but let's keep going. Oh man, this is the step where it all comes together. Let's do it. Check this out. That's what it's going to look like after this step is over. Oops. All four of these legs were on upside down. Whoops. Okay. Okay, so let me tell you what I figured out. Alright, so basically each one of these legs here has two holes right up here in the top. And see if I can figure out a way to show this to you without terribly messing up the floors. Okay, so hopefully you can see there are two holes right here at the top, and those need to essentially point in toward the idler that is used to tighten the belt that runs along this rail. There should be one single hole down here at the bottom, and that one single hole is used to allow me to access the screws that will hold the cross members, these guys, onto the rest of the frame down here at the bottom. So I misinterpreted the instructions, probably. I'll have to go back and double check. But I believe I misinterpreted the instructions, and so I made extra sure to put them all in the wrong way. So that's the problem I've got. So I've got this one flipped around. I need to put some of the screws back in here, but other than that, I think no big deal. We could just pop these out, flip them around, get them in the right way, and keep moving on. So that's what I'll do now. I want to share one other thing with you here. These brackets, they go up in the corners like this, are so close to the top that you can't have these flipped the other way. So when I flip this over like this, all of a sudden now you see these T-nuts are actually too long at the top to fit and align with the holes in the brackets. So when you put these in, it is important that the orientation of them be so that the threaded hole is at the top and the threaded hole is also at the top here, because again there's too much space between these here for the holes to line up, so they have to be both like this when you put them in to the extrusion. Okay, 2 holes at the top, which means this is the end that I actually put this big M8 screw into. I am adding thread locker because I didn't do that the first time because the instructions didn't actually say to do that, but at the same time I feel like this being a structural piece, it sort of makes sense that I don't want this to get loosened up over time. This is literally what holds the frame together, so if there's anything I don't want to be loose, it's this. I just figured out that these T-nuts actually have one additional benefit, other than just being a real nice piece of metal that stays in the track really well. Normal conventional T-nuts, you can't stick in the extrusion. They won't fit. They have to be slid in from one end to the other. But with these, you can actually slide them in sideways, like this, and then, whoop. Well, let's try that again. So you can actually slide them in sideways, just like this, and the little ball detent keeps it where it was. And then you can use that little ball detent to stick the T-nut where in the orientation it's supposed to be. Although I can't seem to pull that off right now. There we go, just like that. So that's a pretty cool feature. I really kind of like these T-nuts. These are nice. So yeah, just like that. So I suppose theoretically I could get them back out that way too, but once they're in there, they like to stay in there, and that's a good thing. Yeah, it's just going to be easier to slide it out the bottom. Okay, well, I'm extremely disappointed. As it turns out, the extrusions for the legs that are all supposed to be 935 millimeters long are not. In fact, two of them are 935 millimeters long. One of them is 933 millimeters long, and one of them is only 932 or 931, depending upon which side I measure. So I couldn't get these brackets on because the holes that allow me to get through and access the screw wasn't in the right place. Essentially, these brackets are supposed to fit in here, and I need to be able to access that screw right there in order to be able to screw it in and secure it. But what happened instead was the length of this smooth rod was such that it pushes it apart. It holds it apart the appropriate amount for this to be in the right place. But these holes were clearly drilled by measuring from the end of this down. And because this leg was so short, the screw head actually came to about here. And so I couldn't even get to it with the screwdriver. That is really disappointing. I was making such good progress on this thing, and for something like that to be what prevents me from moving forward is really disappointing. I need to measure the rest of the extrusions to make sure that I don't have more of these issues, but I guess I have to stop now. I guess this is the end of part 2. Man, I'm really bummed, and okay, well, guess it is what it is. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll be able to get this problem resolved, get some new extrusions sent out, and keep going. And I guess until then, this is Brandon Hart, the ECOstruder, signing off, saying thank you. Please like, subscribe. You don't want to miss out on what happens next with these extrusions. So yeah, ring the bell, get the notifications and all that YouTube nonsense stuff. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.